Greetings. Welcome to In Conversation with Trevor, brought to you by Heart and Soul Broadcasting Services. I go beyond the headlines and beyond the sensational. Today I'm in conversation with Coreen Madanha, the Managing Director of Investiq Oak Wealth Private Limited. If you enjoy this conversation, remember to subscribe, to like, and to share. Let's get down to some work.
Our job as a stockbroker is to advise you. This is what you can buy right now. Our job is to trade on your behalf. Life is not easy. You also need to go out there, state what you need, and be truthful. They always ask, may I please speak to the stockbroker? And then I'm like, I am the stockbroker. Like, no, I'm expecting to speak to Mr. Madanha.
Coreen Madanha, Managing Director, Investiq Oak Wealth. Welcome to In Conversation.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ncube. I am privileged to be part of your show, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. You know, a show that I've been watching from the sidelines, admiring, and, you know, in the office we would discuss and laugh. I wonder what's coming up next. And you never think you'd be worthy to be on the show or do anything that anyone would want you to be on the show. So thank you so much.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And when we started, you said to me, can I call you Mr. Ncube because you went to school with my mother? That makes me so old.
Well, you don't look old.
I don't look old?
No, you don't. But it's just the fact that, you know, when I told her about this, she then said, oh, I think I went to school with Mr. Ncube.
Wow.
And, you know.
Coreen, you've impressed us. A young person who started a very interesting business. So congratulations for launching at the beginning of this year, Investiq Oak Wealth. Congratulations for that. How does it feel like?
Thank you. You don't have to say the whole word, the whole sentence of the name. We go by Investiq.
Okay.
How does it feel like? It's answered prayer. It's a faith project. It just feels like I'm in a dream. Someone pinched me right now to say, how did you get to be a stockbroker? Mm-hmm. And the first female stockbroking firm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
and how did you do that? What do you think, what got you here? What could be the defining moments that got you to be the first female head of a stockbroking firm?
Well, I literally stumbled to be a stockbroker. Mm-hmm. I'm an accountant by profession.
Yeah.
I started off at EFE Securities, which is a stockbroking firm, in 2010. And I started off as a temporary accountant, relieving a lady who was on maternity leave. So I just went there sort of like as a stopgate measure. Mm-hmm. When I got there, I think I impressed them because they asked me to stay on as the compliance officer. Mm. And from then on, I managed to find interest in the stock market, to find interest in the capital markets. And I pursued every single department that I could. Mm. I asked to be in the back office. I asked to be in accounts. And an opportunity came up, and then I was seconded to trading. So it's really been a miracle that I'm here.
Mm. Do you think it's because you've been asking to be put in all these places? It's not normal that people ask. People tend to shy away. People tend to do only that which they are asked to do. But you are raising your hand. I want to be put into the risk department. I want to be put in the compliance department. Do you think that could perhaps explain why you are where you are?
Yes, I think in part, for women, you have to speak up and say, I'm here, I'm available. And when you're assigned the duties, to give it your best shot. So I think in part, the volunteering, but also I think it's God's provision. He ordered the steps. I mean, the way the things happened, there's an opening in the front office, and among the rest of the team, they say, I think Coreen will be able to tackle it. Mm. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things.
You know, I've heard people say, by saying God did it, by saying God ordered the steps, you're diminishing your own role as a person, as an individual. I'm a Christian myself. I fully subscribe to that. But what's your pushback to people that say that?
Well, I feel, yes, I may have what everyone has, but for you to be just thrust in that position of, leadership, it's God. There's no way that it can just happen, because I don't see what's different from my other colleagues that were there at that time for me to be chosen. But I feel that God layered the steps. And yes, from the outside, you may see it as, she's intelligent, or probably she was the next best person, who would they have put? But I feel that it's God who's ordered the steps, because from an accountant to a broker, honestly, guys, how do you get there?
So let's talk briefly about Investiq. Describe to us what Investiq is.
So Investiq is a stockbroking firm, the 22nd to be a member of the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, regulated by the Securities Commission of Zimbabwe. So we are here to empower investors to be able to make a decision on what to invest in and what not to invest in. So our mission is to have financial literacy out there in the open. So yes, they're stockbroking firms, agreed, but we are taking it a level higher. How are we going to do this? We are going to run webinars. We already have been to one school so far since inception. We've been to 2 women's groupings and 1 women's conference. So our aim is to equip the people of Zimbabwe to know how they should invest. We know some are saving in their pillows, in the safety deposits.
Under the blanket, under the bed.
Yes, I know people are saving.
Yeah.
I think we are doing okay there, but I feel we need to grow the money. We need to sweat that money and make it a little bit more. So that's where Investiq is coming from.
So are you getting the traction in terms of inculcating that financial literacy? Are you getting the feedback that there's traction? If not, what kind of stumbling blocks are you coming across when it comes to people being in a position to know what to do with their money?
You know what? It's so funny that you ask, because you walk into a bank and then someone asks, so what do you do? I'm a stockbroker. What's that?
Exactly.
But you're thinking, did you not study finance at NAST? Did you not study economics at UZ? So I think there's a huge challenge.
Yeah.
We have a lot to do, and probably it's not just Investiq that should take this up. We are also seeking partners who are available to partner with us to have the word out there. So yes, there has been challenges. Well, we are only maybe 2 months old. So those challenges that people are blank. I think we have to start at the very elementary, at the foundation of what is financial literacy. How should one budget? How should one save? How should one invest? What is investing? What is this animal called the capital markets? So I think it's a challenge we are looking forward to, and that we want to work hard at.
Well, what products do you offer? What services do you offer? Services and products. Supposing there's somebody that's out there who says, what is a stockbroker? What services do you provide?
All right. So a stockbroker is one who helps one to buy and sell shares. So for example, Mr. Ncube and I cannot exchange a certificate right now and say, I've got 5,000 Econet shares. I'd like to give you those shares. So one needs to trade on a stock market. And our job as a stockbroker is to advise you. This is what you can buy right now. Our job is to trade on your behalf. So we ensure that your KYC, you're compliant in terms of the regulations of the law. And afterwards, we offer support. So we are there to say, this is your portfolio. We help you manage your portfolio. We don't advise you to buy your shares and then run off somewhere. We encourage you to constantly pester us to find out, I bought shares in February. How are they doing? How can I help? We release financials. The companies release financials. We analyze them on your behalf as an investor, and we give out that information. Every day when the market closes, we send through a price sheet. So I think we are sort of like the bridge between different shareholders. We also offer services to the listed companies to help them raise more money. If they need to raise money, if they need to merge with another company, we are there to advise and hold their hand. Fortunately or unfortunately, they cannot just rock up at the exchange and say, we would like to list. They have to go through me.
Okay.
Yes, they have
and
to go
this
through
is
a
something you've done before. You've listed firms, isn't it? You've worked in listing firms.
Yes, we've worked in listing firms before.
Tell me, who are your core clients at this particular moment? I mean, you are 3 months old and so forth. Have you grown a portfolio of clients, regular clients?
So we have a few individual clients, those that are termed as retail clients that we have. And in terms of asset managers, we've at least managed to sign on 11 asset managers to trade with us. So in terms of clientele, we're not doing so badly. We are here, and we're here to stay, and here with the bank.
So those results, you're happy with 11 asset managers signing up with you, and the retail clients that you have, you're happy with that?
I'm happy. I'm actually in awe that they would come on board, such a new baby, and it's a sign that's more to come.
Any foreign investors at the moment that are your clients?
2 individuals.
2 individuals.
Yes.
That's still good, isn't it?
It
Given
is.
the climate that we're in at the present moment.
Yes, and foreigners have not really been participating in the market in terms of new funds coming through. So it is actually a blessing.
Coreen, talk to me about the idea. I want to start InvestIQ. Why not join another stockbroking firm? Why this idea? I mean, you're young, you've done amazing things. You could be managing director of another firm. Paying people's salaries is not an easy thing. Why did you decide to do this?
It's a nightmare.
Why did you decide, let me form my own stockbroking firm? Talk to me about the genesis of this idea. How long you stayed with it?
All right. So I left EFE August 2023. I didn't want to start a stockbroking firm at that time. I just wanted a small break. I actually wanted to go abroad. And I did visit for 3 months. And I liked it. I came back to sort of like plan, how can I go back and, set everything in course. I then met a former client of mine. She was like, I miss your services.
Wow.
I miss your services. And I was like, really? I was like, yeah, I miss stockbroking too. I was honest with myself. And
so at that time, you're not doing anything?
No, I was not doing anything.
Okay.
I actually started thinking about opening a laundromat. I'd done an online course on flower arranging. I thought about doing a flower shop. So yeah, I was in the middle of all those things. I actually registered the laundromat, and I was now on the next stage, market research. Actually went through to an established laundromat to find out how they do their thing. And I was really turning in the opposite direction.
Then what happened?
She insisted to meet me for lunch. I shouldn't have. Free lunch.
Yeah. There's no such thing.
There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Right.
So we met for lunch, and she spoke to me about, why not start something? You were good at what you were doing from her perspective as a client. And then I had an excuse. It's capital intensive. It's a whole lot of work. And then she said, go and think about it.
We'll stop there. Capital intensive, it's a lot of work. She says, go and think about it. We're going to take a pause there. At home, don't go away. Come back and let's hear what she went and thought about. So join us on the other side of the break. See you on the other side.
You need to have 2 licensed stockbrokers.
Yeah.
You need to also have a compliance officer. You need to have the capital. The capital adequacy is 75,000 US.
Welcome back to our conversation with Coreen Madanha, the Managing Director of Investiq. Coreen, what does V stand for in your name? I love finding out the people's second names and the importance of that second names. Why? V.
Vongai.
Why Vongai?
Coreen is after an impressive lady that my dad worked with.
Yeah.
And then Vongai is after my grandmother.
Oh, wow. Beautiful name. So you go for lunch. Mm-hmm. You wanted the laundromat. You wanted to start something else. What else did you want to start?
A flower shop.
A flower shop. Laundromat, flower shop. From this chartered accountant, you go for lunch and this woman says, I miss your services. Come back. Go and think about it. What went through your mind?
I was shocked initially that someone would miss my services. And it sort of like rang back a few other colleagues who had said, you should start your own stockbroking firm. You should start something in the financial markets. And I would always just say, I'm not ready. I'm too young. I'm inexperienced. Then they would say, no, you're actually overexperienced. You should be doing something of your own. I then went home. I told my husband.
I irritate a lot of people by asking this question because you look so young. And a lot of people out there say, you must never ask a lady how old they are, but I will ask you. So that those that are out there that are your age or whatever, get inspired. How old are you?
I turned 40 last month.
40 last month. So you go home, you talk to your husband?
And he says, yes, I don't understand why you wanted to open a laundromat. After all those years of studying.
But meanwhile, he's been quiet.
Yes, I think he's just been a gentleman.
Yeah.
So he's like, I don't understand why you'd want to open a laundromat. The flower shop, it can be a side hustle. You love flowers. I get that. Mm-hmm. They make you feel better. But this is what you studied for. This is what you're born for. And there's a newspaper article that came out in May 2022 about Know Your Stockbroker. And he says, remember, I framed this newspaper article. I blew it up and I framed it because I have faith in you. So why not?
Prior to that, Coreen, had it crossed your mind that apart from the laundromat and the flower shop, you wanted to be a stockbroker? Did it cross your mind? Or it's other people talking about it and you're not necessarily seized by this idea?
It did, but I would quickly
run away.
Quickly suppress this feeling.
Why?
I just felt I was not worthy. I felt inadequate. I just thought it's just something that should remain a dream. It should be something that you wish for and don't say it out loud. You'll jinx it. Don't say it out loud. It won't happen. Don't say it out loud. You can't do it. So it is something that I would think about. And, maybe sometimes we'd even joke about it in the office. We're not getting any younger. We should venture out and start something. But
given that experience, what do you say to somebody who's walking that journey right now, who is thinking, I'm not worth it. I shouldn't do it. I can't do it. Let me run away. Let me push it back. What advice do you give now that you've taken the plunge? And what advice do you give to others?
I would say, trust yourself. You're worthy. You can do it. There are times where you've thought about an idea. Don't block it out. It's better to fail after you have tried. Now that I'm on this other side, I should have done this much earlier.
It's always the thing, isn't it? I should have done this much earlier.
Yes.
But talk to me about the pain points of this journey. Because thinking about the idea to start and starting are two different things. What have been the biggest challenges for you? What have been the pain points?
Well, there are many. I'll try and summarize them. So firstly, for one to have a stockbroking firm, you need to have 2 licensed stockbrokers. You need to also have a compliance officer. You need to have the capital. The capital adequacy is 75,000 US. But over and above, I think you need to scale it up to about 125,000 so that you are able to have money to
cover
the expenses to start. So for me, that was
so
a challenge.
So this is 125,000 that you put there to satisfy the regulatory authority?
Yes, the regulator needs to see 75,000.
75,000.
But you have to have offices.
Okay.
You need to pay your licensing fees. You need to have professional indemnity in place. So all those things are prior, this side of the license. And you have to have them in order. So firstly, finding a broker who will trust a young girl and partner with them and start a business was the first
You've
thing.
got that broker, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The broker is Mr. Batum Swaka.
Good friend of mine, Bat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So for us to get to Bat, we had to go through a whole lot. So that conversation with the client was around February 2024. So I had to have the list, what is required for a stockbroking firm, the list of about 12 things. And I had to go through each and every one of them. The client offered me her offices.
Wow. That's beautiful.
Yes.
That's a lot of confidence, isn't it?
It is so much confidence. She offered me her offices. And I started working on that list. The first thing was to approach a second broker. Would you like to partner with me in this dream that I have?
And the broker came along?
Well, the brokers came along, and in between there were disappointments. Some would say yes, and then along the way they would disappoint me. At one point, I actually went into the blankets.
Oh.
That's how bad it was. But I then...
Welcome to the real world.
Yes, it was really a welcome to the real world. Having to face that rejection and then to finally pick yourself up and then say, what is my next move?
Yeah.
Am I living the dream or am I going forward? So with...
What kept you going?
My client, Vimbai Chungua, may God bless her. She kept me going. My husband kept me going. My mom and my siblings kept me going. They would always check up. How is the business? When are we starting? When are we opening the doors? So that is like pressure to say you have to do something. So with Mr. Mswaka, he's the president of the Stockbrokers Association, and I'm the treasurer. So I then called him for advice, for fatherly advice. And he then says, oh, why don't you speak to this person, speak to this person? I'm like, no, I've spoken to that person. They said, no, I've spoken to that person. And then he says at the end of the tea that we had, if you fail to find someone in 3 weeks, maybe I could help you out with the license. But I'm in retirement, so you have to get me out of retirement, pay all the fees that are required with the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, with the Securities Commission. And oh my goodness, I'm in the board of the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, so I have to disclose and everything. So we are having all these discussions. And then I'm just like, God, he has to be my partner.
He has to come in.
And I don't tell him then. I go and I pray about it for the next 3 weeks. And my husband was like, he is the man for the job. You need to talk to him. You need to convince him. So 3 weeks down the line, I call him and say, Baba, I have news for you. Can we meet up? And then that's when I told him that I think you should be the second broker. And I think that's one of the best decisions I've ever made. So that's challenge one down. Second challenge is the money and the paperwork and everything, opening accounts, making sure your ZIMRA clearance is above board, and now interfacing with the regulator. It was interesting.
How easy was it to raise the money?
It wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy.
Yes, it wasn't easy. I had friends who helped. My brother chipped in. And thankfully, Vimbai also chipped in.
Do those then become shareholders?
Yes. Well, my friends know because it was
it's a loan.
It's a loan. It's a friendly fire. And my brother know. Yeah. But Vimbai comes in through her company, Mountain Finance.
What lesson did you learn about this raising $75,000 to start a business? What lessons do you learn from there? And even talking to Pat Mswaka.
Life is not easy. You also need to go out there, state what you need, and be truthful. I mean, I had to be truthful with Mr. Mswaka. I had to be truthful with Mbai. I had to be truthful to my friends. I had to be truthful with my husband at all levels to say...
And be truthful with Zimra.
Oh, yes. And be truthful with Zimra to say, this is who we are and this is what we want to do. And even with the regulators to really lay your cards out. So I've learned a lot throughout this process.
What has surprised you about you during this journey? I mean, did you think that you've already said you thought you wouldn't do it, but there you are, you're doing it. What has surprised you about you?
I'm stronger than I thought I was. And that the passion that I have is actually much more than I let on. I was just having sleepless nights, just saying, God, please help this go through. Not for my sake, but I want to make a difference. So I think I've learned so many things about myself that I didn't know.
Wow. It's a journey of just discovery life, isn't it? I could tell going through the stuff that you've done. You started with Grant Thornton in 2004, 2006. And you were rising pretty quickly. You went to Alpha Asset Management 2009 to 2010. And then, of course, EFE Securities 2010, 2023. Are there moments of those jobs that I've just outlined now, which when you look back, you're saying, I think that's where I got formed. I think that's where I learned the most. What are there any seasons in there that stand out for you? I
think Camelsa then, what we were called Camelsa before Grant Thornton. At Camelsa, it was humbling. From leadership in high school, I was head girl, to Triple J, junior, where you are making teas, where you are the last to get onto the bus. It was really like humbling to say, from here, you can go there in life. That's life. From there, you can also go there. So it was really an interesting experience. I think that also formed me because of the work ethic that articles puts you through. I did 2.5 years, but I don't know if I should say everyone should go through articles. But what I went through, the training, the responsibility, the ability to talk to people who are not your peers. Because when you go for an assignment, you have to ask the client for stuff. You can't just sit in your office and expect information to come to you. There are times where we'd have to work beyond the working hours, investigations. There's a time I think I didn't see town for 3 months because you'd work late into the night, 1 a.m. You'd be dropped off at home. 8 a.m. you're supposed to be at the office. You get maybe 1 day on the weekend to rest. That evening, for example, Saturday evening, you're in the office. All through Sunday, you're in the office. So it taught me hard work. From high school, spoiled, having everything done for you. Head girl. Yes. Having everything done for you, like your parents are making sure everything is there for you. But now this is a different picture. This is a different sphere. So I learned hard work and to work well with others. I think it formed me to be able to, because your section, if you don't do your section well, it impacts how the next person, the senior or the supervisor, is going to do their work. And the financials, the delay of the financials may be on you. So it formed me. It really helped. So everyone should do articles, I think. That's what I think. I mean, I just feel there's some missing link that articles just sort of like grounds you. It makes you a different type of person. I may not be aware how doctors go through their residency and all, but I really feel articles is a game changer. Articles is a game changer. We're going to take a break there. When we come back, obviously, people watching want to find out, where were you born? Where did you grow up? And there's one thing that stands out, and that you were part of the team that did the audit on SMM Holdings, and you actually did, the report was delivered to President Robert Ncube. I would want us to go to that place, but go to your education and the education that formed you. And why accounting? And also,
the challenge of being a woman in the workspace, what that means, leading a firm as you are, and what challenges you encounter. So viewers, don't go away. When we come back, we will go to those places.
The taxes that are, if they could go down, so that someone feels that saving by investing is growing my money.
Greetings. My name is Trevor Ncube, host of In Conversation with Trevor, Zimbabwe's most engaging conversational show. I go beyond the headlines and beyond the sensational. We've brought before your screens change makers from arts, business, and politics, and from the region. Please join our growing community of viewers. Subscribe, like, and share. Welcome back to our conversation with Coreen Madanha, the Managing Director of Investiq Oak Wealth. So I must ask you this, why accounting?
My dad was an accountant.
Aha.
I loved the way he did his things. He was so confident in his work, headhunted at the times. And when I would visit his office, I just thought, I don't know what accounting I'm going to do, but the highest level is what I need to achieve just to be like this man.
Wow. Wow. Is he still alive?
No, he's late. Yeah.
Did he see you becoming an accountant?
Yes. He passed away in 2016. I was already on my path, finishing off the exams to be a stockbroker. So yes, he saw what I had become.
Where were you born rather? Where were you born?
I was born in a beautiful town of Wange.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yes.
Which schools did you go to?
I went to Thomas Coulter for the first 2 years, and then I went to Caulfields Primary. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting you ask me about which schools I went to. One of my mantras is from Caulfields Primary. Mm-hmm. The motto there was strive for excellence. Mm-hmm. So that is what I've carried. As I do my things, strive for excellence is one of my mottos. So yes, I enjoyed Caulfields Primary.
And which university did you go to?
I didn't go to university full time. After A-level, I had applied to Rhodes University, gotten a place. Come time for me to go to school, my dad says, we don't have the money for you to go through 4 years of school. So you are going to go and have some time at articles at Camelsa, and you're going to study with UNISA. So I did.
How did you take that? You're not going to Rhodes. I mean, there's excitement about going to university, being on campus.
Wow.
But dad says you're not going to do that. How did you take that?
I was angry, but the relationship that we had, I could really just go to him and just tell him what I thought on the spot.
That helps, eh?
It helps. So I didn't bottle up anything. Yeah. I told him, and I asked him, it doesn't make sense. I'm the eldest, so what is your plan for the rest of the siblings? And he was like, no, I have shares, equity shares. So that was my second encounter with the word shares. My first was in high school. There were gentlemen that used to buy shares when we were in high school. And I just used to look at them like, these guys, they're boring. We are buying ice cream.
They're buying shares.
Well, they were buying the fingers from the ice cream man instead of buying ice cream. But yeah, so that was my second encounter to hear the word shares. So then nothing clicked to say, you're going to be a shareholder, you're going to deal in shares. But yeah, then he was like, I've got Econet shares, but I don't think they'll last you the 4 years. But I'm sure by the time your siblings come aboard, it will cover them. So yeah, I was mad. But at the same time, God works in mysterious ways. That's where I met my husband at Camelsa.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. So you did your articles at Camelsa whilst you're doing you did a bachelor accounting with UNISA.
Accounting science in internal audit. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then what else? You did an ACA, hey?
A certificate in international audit. I also did the CIFM exams for you to be a stockbroker. So
you have some strong expertise around regulatory compliance, risk management, and strategic planning. Which one of those do you particularly enjoy?
Compliance.
Compliance. Why? That's it. I was looking at, wow, this is interesting. Why compliance?
I don't know. I love reading.
Mm-hmm.
I love making sure that I'm
playing by the rules,
doing the right thing. And I think maybe that was my introduction to financial markets. So I think I really grew in that space. And I enjoy it. I think people should make sure that they follow the rules. I think I'm a sucker for rules as well. So
rules are important.
Yes.
Which one of these is serving you the most where you are right now as a leader of a stockbroking firm? Strong expertise in regulatory compliance, risk management. Which one of these is serving you the most? So it's a combination.
I think it's a combination.
Yeah.
I think God has a sense of humor. I'm able to pick from everywhere that I've been.
Because you used to raise your hand and say, can I do this? Can I do that?
I was such a volunteer. I think I over-volunteered at times, but yes.
But it's serving you well now, isn't it?
It is indeed.
Yeah. The looking at our terrain as an economy, I mean, how easy is it to convince people that take your money from under your blanket and pillow and invest it in equities? Do you find that being an easy thing to do?
No.
It's a tough economy.
No, it's not an easy thing to do because someone could buy shares and tomorrow they've fallen 50%. But I think educating someone about the equities market and them making an informed decision, or even not making the decision now when you've spoken about it, goes a long way. Because I believe someone who is informed can make the best decisions and they can stand by them. I mean, they don't say, let me ask my stockbroker. They're saying, I have made this decision. I understand the risks that I'm taking and I know what I'm hoping to get out of this for the future. And it may not be easy, but it's what Investiq is going to push it to make sure we put the word out there.
As far as the lay of the land is concerned, what reforms would you want to see in the capital markets that would make your business grow even stronger in this environment? Are there any particular reforms you want to look at? I mean, new products. Is there anything that particularly screams out as wanting reform, as it were, in the capital markets?
Okay. Thankfully, one of the things is recently happened.
Okay.
So we used to settle on a T+3 platform. You buy shares on a Monday. On Thursday, they're yours. Or you sell shares on a Monday. On Thursday,
so +3 is the +3 days.
It's +3 days.
So you buy +3 days, you're going to get
business
a settlement.
days.
Yeah.
Yes, business days, not including weekends and public holidays. So last week on the 14th, we've now moved to T+2. So it helps one make decisions and it makes things easy. So that was one of the headaches when you tell someone, you can only get your shares after 3 days. And then now at least it's been narrowed. So that's good. I think also the taxes.
Okay.
The taxes that are, if they could go down so that someone feels that saving by investing is growing my money, not reducing it by much more. So on the buy side, like on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, it's 1.694%.
Okay.
On the sell side, about 2.44. So the whole cycle is about 4.5%, which is a bit much.
Yeah.
So if the taxes, could be reduced, that would help.
The tax on the client.
Yes, because this is tax on the client.
On the client, yeah.
Yes, and it's transactional. It is when they buy and when they sell. So those sort of things. And then on the company's point of view, companies are not listing as they should. And the products, the depth is not what a country like ours should be. I mean, we've only got 2 REITs that are listed. It would be great if we had more. We've only got 4 ETFs.
Yeah.
It would be great if we had more. So if people like myself and companies out there were to come up with more products that would help people to save and grow their money.
Is the cumbersome listing requirement, is it not a limiting factor to clients listing and you having the liquidity and the script that you need?
Yes, that is the listing requirements are much, probably globally.
Yeah.
The listing requirements are a deterrent for people to come on board. But I think also the benefits, if properly communicated and advocated for, could outweigh those. We need to explain more to people. What are the benefits of listing? Some people could actually retire well and leave a bigger legacy if they listed their companies.
Right. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. What does it make your life any exciting, the fact that there's the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange and the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange? Does it make any difference to your life as a stockbroker?
Yes, it does.
In what way?
In that the opportunities for people to list are better. The Victoria Falls Stock Exchange, I was talking about transactional costs.
Yeah.
They are less on that exchange. And I think it will bring a bit of confidence. You know, the currency volatility on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange is then countered by the trades on the VFX,
right,
which are in US dollar. So I think it does make things easier. It makes things clearer. You know, when you speak to someone and you're offering them more than one option, it definitely is easier.
Yeah. Tell me, being a young woman venturing into this business, the first woman to start a stockbroking
and
firm,
hopefully not the last.
Hopefully not the last.
Yes.
But we must address the issue of, do you find it a challenge being a woman in the boardroom? Do you find it a challenge being a woman who has started a stockbroking firm, and what are those challenges?
It is a challenge because getting into the stockbroking field in itself was a hurdle. And when I started out, I think I remember 2 female stockbrokers that were practicing at that time. And now, thankfully, we should be 8. So there's the challenge of, who are you? What different service will you provide that your male counterparts are not providing? So there you have to be assertive, to say, I am here as a trustworthy partner to help you grow your investments. I am here. You can depend on me.
Yeah.
I can put in the work that's required. Don't worry. It has got nothing to do with my gender. Judge me on my deliverables.
Have you found that there are instances where you feel I'm being judged on the basis of my gender?
Many, unfortunately.
Can you share 1 or 2 where you felt this is not about me as a chartered accountant, Coreen as a chartered accountant, but because I'm a woman?
Yes, but maybe I'd rather not share the specific details.
Not the specifics now, but the general outline.
Yes, well, firstly, when my phone rings, when I'm calling a client that I've been referred to, they always ask, may I please speak to the stockbroker? And then I'm like, I am the stockbroker. Like, no, I'm expecting to speak to Mr. Madanha, a stockbroker.
Wow.
So that's where the conversation starts shaky. And then you explain, no, I'm actually the stockbroker. I'm here to assist you. How can I be of assistance? I received your documentation. I want us to move forward with the trading. How we can go about it? Can I set up a meeting? So you have that, challenge initially.
How does that make you feel?
Even more determined.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I want to prove a point.
Yes. To say, you know what? It's not Mr. It's Mrs. And I am here, genuinely here.
Mrs. is going to show you 1 or 2 things.
Well, not quite like that, but yes. But yes, it then gives me some determination, and it helps me to then be cautious as well. To say, I have to be truthful, I have to be accurate, I have to do things by the book and do things the right way.
Tell me, you are a young person in a leadership position. You've already spoken about the importance of God and faith in your life. But how do you lead yourself as an individual? You are a mother, you are a wife, you lead a business. Are there things that you do on a daily basis that help you in who you show up as a leader in the marketplace? What do you do? Do you have any
Rituals?
rituals?
Yes.
What do you do?
I wake up early in the morning, around 4:30, but sometimes the alarm goes off after I'm awake. So I have 30 minutes of devotion and prayer. I have a group whom I share verses with on a daily basis. So I do that, and then I exercise for 30 minutes.
You do this at home, or
I do this at home.
Okay.
I do this at home. I used to run in the neighborhood, but then I encountered a few dogs, so I've now gone back to skipping.
Yeah.
Skipping is my to-go-to place now. So I skip for 30 minutes, sometimes 40 when you get carried away. And then I prepare to go to work. On my way to work, I'm catching up on the news, listening in on the news, or listening into a podcast. And then sometimes I call clients on my way to work. I have a hands-free.
Oh, thank God you said that, because I was going to come for you now.
Yes.
Are you one of those people that I see driving and texting?
No, I find that weird, because sometimes someone is like holding the steering wheel this way, and it looks clumsy. And it's not safe.
It causes accidents.
Yes.
Actually.
So sometimes I actually do call clients on my way to work.
Tell me, where do you go to when you have tough decisions that you've got to make, where it's not been able to resolve in the office? You've prayed about it, it's not happened. Where do you go to? Who do you contact? What do you do?
I think it depends on what the challenge is. I have good friends who mentored me. I can call them up and then say, I have this challenge. How would you have dealt with if you were still in the stock market? Or at times there's a friendly client. I have good clients that I then bounce off. I have this challenge. I was meant to match this client and I failed to get these shares. And then sometimes they come through with support. I think I know someone who has those shares, or I can help you with that funding. So it depends on the challenge. If it's regulatory, I have ways to check in with the regulator to say, I'm in a bind. How can you help? But yeah, I think it just varies. But I'm not a person to keep things inside, so I always shout for help.
You've made this huge achievement at a very young age. What's the next big thing for you? What's the next big thing? Are we going to see you listing InvestIQ? Are we going to see you going into the region? What are you dreaming about, which is scaring you right now?
The thing that I can't say out aloud.
It's there, hey?
It's there.
Yeah.
So yes, I think after being definitely in the top 5 of stockbrokers in Zimbabwe, definitely region is the way to go, to see how best InvestIQ can be placed in the map of the capital markets in Africa.
Oh, we wish you all the very best, Coreen. It's been wonderful chatting to you, and for us, having you here is celebrating the person that you are becoming, and we're going to be watching you to see how you turn out, and indeed those dreams of going into the region. You're making a lot of young people out there, both young men and young women, proud. So you're flying the flag, and we are watching you. Shall we go to books now? We've got a lot of viewers out there who love books. I'm going to start sharing, Coreen. This is what I'm reading at the moment. I've been saying to people, I've decided to read about China.
Okay.
I want to understand China. And what Donald Trump is doing in America is making me fall in love with the Chinese every day. I like what they're doing. I like their leadership in as far as technology is concerned. biotechnology, synthetic biology, AI, and so forth. Donald Trump's madness is making me think that there's a lot of beauty around the Chinese, and I'm reading a lot. This is a great book by Stephen Tsang and Olivia Cheng. It's called The Political Thought of Xi Jinping. I recommend it. I've recommended it before. This book is amazing. How Democracies Die, What History Reveals About Our Future by Stephen Levitsy and Daniel Ziblatt. This book, if we all had read it before Donald Trump came, or the Americans had, it's a book that is a warning, flashes warning lights on in terms of tyranny and the terrible people that come through what we think is democracy. How Democracies Die. Again, I've recommended it. I can't recommend it enough. And then the other one is on tyranny, 20 lessons from the 20th century. You know, you want to know why Trump is where he is because we didn't follow the 20 lessons that Timothy Cinder has placed in here. So I recommend that book. What books have you read that you want to recommend to our book-loving audience out there?
Okay, I've read many. And for
we want 3.
Yes, okay, 3.
Yeah.
And reading is not just perusing pages for me. And I really want them hard copied, by the way.
You're like me, so I love that.
I can't.
I underline, I highlight, I put markers, as you can see.
Yes.
I go back to them, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, it's not just looking at words. It's like a voice speaking directly to me, and my imagination is opened. And it's exciting to read.
What books? So what
So the first one I would say is Fervent. This one is by Priscilla Sher.
Oh, right.
After the movie War Room,
yeah,
I dug into that book. Prayer is important, but be intentional, deliberate, strategize. I mean, prayer should just not be, okay, we now need to eat, or it should be intentional, purposeful. You know, she made me think about focusing on my identity. Who am I in Christ? Focusing on family, prayer that is deliberately on family, and even on the business. You know, it really opened my eyes that prayer can open so many doors. So that book is my recommendation.
Beautiful.
My first recommendation. The second would be Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, former COO of Facebook. She took the words out of my mouth.
Right.
Some of the challenges that women go through
in the
workplace, how to balance family, and even to step up, to say, I have an idea. Why not do things differently? Yeah. And even the way the stories, when she spoke about how men were able to raise her brand, and even fellow women. So that taught me that, yes, Coreen, you've made it to this level, but you need to raise others to where you are. And the way the internship, the dynamics in her book, it also opened my eyes that, you know, when someone walks through the doors, they're on attachment, they're just here for 3 months. They should not leave the same. No.
It's your responsibility
to
impact them. Yeah.
It's my responsibility to impact them. So the third book is Surviving the Loss of a Loved One. So when I lost my dad in 2016, this book had already been there. It's one of the books that he bought. He had a huge library. It's by Reg Brown. I didn't read it 2016 all the way to 2019. But after I read that, I was like, whew. He went through so much grief. He went through so much pain, but he was able to minister to others and to share what he was going through. And the things that you're thinking, am I going mad? But he gave a voice to that, to say, you're not going mad. Grief is not an instant switch on, switch off. Go through the process.
There isn't a formula. It's
not linear. But go through the processes, go through the phases. So that is my other recommendation. And I think a ministry has been born out of that. When someone loses a loved one, I'm not thinking, why are they crying? Or why are they not crying? But
your experience has equipped you
yes,
to help others.
It has. So now I'm like, how can I help? Or what do they need? So yeah, I think those are my 3 books. And of course, the bonus is the Bible.
Oh, absolutely. I must press you. What do you miss most about your father?
Just the conversations. I wish he was here to see where I've gone to. And, he was just different. He was a friend. Just miss sitting in his company, laughing. Yeah.
Beautiful. Coreen, it's been beautiful talking to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're full of so much promise. You're full of so much energy. I can see a bright future for you. And I speak it into existence.
Amen.
Wonderful. Allow me to turn now to our viewers, Coreen, who are all over the world, to say thank you for your support. We are sitting on 11.54 million views at the moment, 86,000 subscribers. Thank you for your support. Remember, we are a weekly show. We're out on Mondays. Go below this video, press the subscribe button, like and share. And we love your comments. Until next time, cheers to you all.